Good morning and congratulations for taking the first step to solving your slow money blues. My name is Doug, retired U.S. Marine and two-time combat veteran turned entrepreneur at your service. Today's episode is Xenophilia Xavier. You know, guys, I never get tired of saying that introduction because it's super inspiring to me. This journey of entrepreneurship is so fun. It's a lot of excitement. There's always new challenges, new adventures, new opportunities, meeting new people, unlocking and unhacking your own limiting beliefs. It's super awesome being an entrepreneur, which is why I always get excited on Tuesdays, but and even leading up to the preparation of it, but that introduction just says everything because man, I don't know where you are, and this is kind of some bonus material. I don't know where you are on your journey as it relates to, on your freedom journey, but I'm telling you the truth, man, this drug called freedom is so awesome. It takes you to the highest of highs. And man, if you have not secured your freedom yet, in all ways, I'm talking about spiritual freedom, financial freedom, relational freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom, and of course, financial freedom, man, what are you doing? So every time I say that, I just get super excited about that introduction because literally it says turned entrepreneur. In other words, no one is born an entrepreneur. I wasn't born an entrepreneur, but I'm going to tell you what every human being was born to be and want to do. They were born to be and want to be free. So that's why our show exists. We help you build, launch, and grow your own personal freedom success system. And that way, you can live an amazing and awesome life. So to ask questions, visit slowmoneyblues.com and click on that Ask Blue button there and just submit your question. You can also submit your question using hashtag slowmoneyblues on IG, Facebook, or Twitter. Today, we're going to be talking about how to broaden your perspective. Man, that's something. How do you broaden your perspective? And let me just dive in that a little bit. Oftentimes, our perspective literally is shaped by our surroundings. It's shaped by our environment. And so the ways that you can actually broaden that is what we're going to talk about today. But as always, before we even hop into the show, I have three questions for you today. Did you do your homework? So last week's homework, the only thing I asked you to do was, hey, ask your customers why they do business with you. You're supposed to ask your customers why do they do business with you, and hopefully you did it. If not, you still have an opportunity. If you are a side hustler, solopreneur, dadpreneur, mompreneur, or some type of preneur, I highly encourage you, if you already have an existing customer base, go back to them and ask them, why did they choose to do business with you? And this is one of the best parts of the show. Did you say your morning mantra? If you didn't, you have an opportunity each and every time that I am on this show broadcasting live. You can say it with me. And even if you don't tune in live, you can watch the recorded version and you'll have an opportunity to see it. So let's say it together. Say, I state your full name. Take 100% responsibility and accountability for my actions and decisions. I refuse to blame others. If I do, I give away all of my power, authority, and power given to me by God. Boom!
That was easy.
That is the easiest thing and easiest words you'll ever say. Now, doing it is something altogether different. And how do I know? Because I have to challenge myself to do that every day. Question number 3. Did you listen to the Monday sneak peek preview? If you didn't, it's okay. We're going to be talking about Xenophilia Xavier today, and we're going to have an awesome time. But before we go any further, we have to pay the bills. And as always, we have Linky.com and BigNetDomain.com. Super stoked about their relationship. that we've established with them. If you don't have a linky, you need to get one. I promise you, like if you're a business owner, a side hustler, solopreneur, dadpreneur, mompreneur, go there right now. It's a 7-day free trial offer. No credit card is required. Go to linky.com, linky.com. It's just phenomenal. If you want to see an example of what one looks like, go to linky.com/slow money blues. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed with this platform. It's super awesome. It's great. Now, I can't believe that we're almost at the end of 2022, going full steam ahead to 2023. And guess what? People still are struggling with how to create a website, how to do email marketing, how to do e-commerce. Well, if that is your dilemma, what I want you to do is go to bignetdomain.com, where the net just got bigger. Use promo code BIGNET and get a 10% savings upon checkout. And the best part, if you need a domain name, a .com, a .tv, a .tv, a .net, a .123, a .us, a .anything, what I want you to do is go there now. When you buy the domain name, make sure you use that promo code BIGNET. And guess what? You will actually receive hosting for free for 1 entire year. Doesn't get any better than that. Hey, big shout out to linky.com and bignetdomain.com. So here's the question today. Do you have xenophilia? So in writing this particular episode, I was like, man, what the heck is, xenophilia? If you guys haven't figured it out, by the way, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. And so what I challenge myself to do in this season, which is season 4, is to go through every alphabet and write an episode about it. Of course, using a real person like Xavier. And I was like, well, what can I put that's really like an X and not like a EX, but like an actual X? And I discovered the term xenophilia. And so xenophilia, for all of my entrepreneurs out there and all of my people that are curious out there, it just simply means that a person that loves engaging with other cultures and customs and courtesies, obviously, of other human beings. That's all it really means. So if you're probably a world traveler or something like that, or you like traveling, or you like to discover new things, chances are you are you have xenophilia. Okay. So Xavier was a big time foodie as a kid. He loved all types of food. He was just like me. He loved Mexican, Latin, Asian, Indian, Americana, and Italian. And his love for food led him to attend culinary school. Man, I don't know about you, but I love watching all types of cooking shows. But more importantly, I love engaging and trying new foods. So he learned from some of the best chefs in the world. And Xavier found his passion, and it shows each time he prepares a meal. Let's get personal. Xavier's love and passion for food allows him to travel the world and discover the people and customs behind the food. There's nothing like having an awesome meal, but it's even more awesome when you know exactly where it came from, the various ingredients people use, and the different ways that people actually prepare it. So what he discovered enriched his life so much that Xavier launched a global kitchen, which now serves over 1 million years each year. Awesome! So today we're going to be talking about how you can broaden your perspective. So the first thing when you're trying to broaden your perspective is this, right? Because so much of our perspective is really not forward-looking. It's actually looking in a rearview mirror. That's how our perspective is formed. However, as I've been on my entrepreneurial journey, what I've discovered is that although I learned from the past, I'm always looking forward because I know everything moves forward. Time doesn't go in reverse. It goes forward. Today is October the 25th. Tomorrow will be October the 26th. Everything moves forward. I'm not getting younger. I'm getting older. Everything moves forward. If you are in academia, you start off in pre-K, then it's kindergarten, first grade. And if you go to college, you start off and you're like a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, a senior, and so on and so forth. Life simply moves forward. So what I've discovered is that being curious always broadens your perspective. And be curious about what? Be curious about anything and everything, but this is the one thing I want you to master being curious about. It's the thing we talk about every time that I am broadcasting this live and each time that I engage people. And do you know that 100% of the people that I've encountered and begin to discuss this particular thing about being curious about, they always agree with me. And that is freedom. Okay. Be curious. Be curious. But be curious more about freedom than anything else. I promise you, it will change the way you think. Well, guess what? It will broaden your perspective. For example, what human being can offer you freedom and totally deliver on it beyond yourself? The answer is nobody. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your relatives, not the government, which is just simply more human beings that have been elected in office and probably by you. So be curious is the first step to broadening your perspective. And be curious, if we had to zero in on it, about freedom. Next, number 2, be adventurous. I mean, do you do the same old, like day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, and year out? Now, I'm not talking about, your traditions that you have, right? Like on Memorial Day, a lot of people are going. Now, Memorial Day is all about remembering those people that actually, particularly veterans, that, pay the ultimate sacrifice. And a lot of people say thank you for your service on Memorial Day, but it's really about the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And you know that I'm a retired U.S. Marine, so people always say thank you for your service. But typically, that day is really reserved for Veterans Day, which is coming up here in November, right? So be adventurous. One of the things that when you're adventurous, I'm going to tell you what it does. It certainly broadens your perspective because it opens up your mind to new possibilities and just new opportunities. But I remember, and this is many years ago now, when we would go to like different places, and sometimes when you're going and you're going on some new adventure, you're a little nervous, you're a little antsy because you've never been there, you've never experienced this before, right? But that's the whole challenge about like being adventurous. Like I remember the first time I think we had to do like some obstacle course that we never did. And it's always building you up. You're like, man, we're going on this run, right? And you're like, hey, where are we going? And everybody's like, now you really kind of whispering in our breath, like, man, we've never been there. And you are gripped by a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear, and also a little excitement all at the same time because you're anticipating this new adventure. And then you get there and then you do this thing. You're like, oh, that was so awesome. So maybe like zip lining. I don't know, maybe like skydiving, maybe like bungee jumping. Be adventurous. Now, you don't have to be adventurous in that way. I don't know, but just be adventurous. So, and I'm trying to tell you that when you are an adventurous person, I'm telling you, man, you're going to meet so many awesome people. And meeting new people is actually an adventure in and of itself. And then the setting also changes the dynamic of what that adventure looks like too. It's amazing. So those two things, how to broaden your perspective, be curious about your freedom and be adventurous. And no kidding, believe it or not, when you're adventurous, if I told you that these people that they call like explorers, these people are super adventurous. Hey, I want to go and climb Mount Everest. Or I want to, just whatever it is that you want to. I want to take a trip all the way across country. Or guess what? I want to go see every capital in every country. That's be adventurous. I'm telling you, it makes life a lot more fun. And it broadens your perspective because you're going to get to see and experience different people and different cultures. Kind of like Xavier. And then the last thing, how you broaden your perspective, doggone it, and I already said it, meet new people. If you're ever in the marketplace and you see this guy, me, and I think you guys have probably seen me without my hat on, but this is just kind of what I wear when I'm doing a show. I put my hat back on. So if you ever see me, just come say, hey, Doug, how you doing? I love your show or something like that. It's cool. But I love engaging people. I love people, literally, because so often we think that we're doing this thing called life by ourselves. And I promise you that the things that I've gone through, other human beings have already gone through it, or other human beings will go through it. And so in this journey called life, when you meet new people, you fully realize that guess what? This human experience, everybody is living it. We just meet, if you look at the timeline, we just be experiencing it at different times, but we're all going to experience. Now, this is what I do know. This is what I do know. We talk about being curious and being adventurous and then meeting new people. When I meet new people, I ask them that question. What do you do? How long you been doing? What do you really want to do? And I always tell people, I say, listen, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I said the thing I believe you're in pursuit of is freedom. And what I know is that most people have not come close to getting freedom. And so being free it has its own challenges because you don't have to I don't have to work with anybody or work for anybody or do anything I don't want to do. So when you secure that freedom, I promise you, if you want to if you want to broaden your perspective, being curious and being adventurous and meeting new people, and you secure this thing called freedom, I promise you, your whole perspective about a lot of things is going to change, and rather quickly. So what did we talk about? Well, we talked about Xenophilia Xavier, and we found out that xenophilia just simply means that you're a person that is very curious about other customs and courtesies and cultures. And we talked about how you can broaden your perspective. Be curious, be adventurous, and meet new people. So, what are our major takeaways today? Broadening your view broadens your perspective. You know, yesterday, my brother and I, we were out. He went out and he bought him a new vehicle. And he asked me to come with him. And we went to, I'm not going to name the state, but we went to a state that's adjacent to what state that I live in. And I said, man, why is it that the vibes up here always feel different? Listen, I've traveled to a lot of countries. I've traveled to a lot of states. I've driven across country a couple of times, flown a couple of times as well too. And you know how you know, and I'm not talking about like just, you know, flying and touching down saying you've been, no, I'm talking about being out in the culture and experiencing that particular city, right? And it's always like, hey, look, the vibes always seem like, hey, I'm in this different place, but I feel very just at ease. For some reason, when I go to this place, I'm like, what is it about this place that I go to? It's like this weird thing. And I remember many years ago when and that smells the same. When I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California, when you go, when we call going out into the field, there would always be this certain smell. It wasn't pervasive everywhere. But when you went to a certain part of the installation and you were out in that part, I say, what the heck is that smell? It's just the desert, right? It's mountainous terrain. And I was like, I don't like that smell. Right? Well, this is the same way to this state that we went to. Every time I go there, I'm like, bro, these vibes, they just hit different. And I remember literally just coming across the state line and coming back over in the state where I live. And I was like, what is the deal over? I don't know. Maybe I need to hang out. And I know a lot of people that live there. It's just a different vibe. And I think it's the part that you're in, because I've been to the major city there and it's so awesome. It's so cool. A very historical city. But I don't want to put them on blast like that. So I don't want to like put out any like, you know, bad vibes or whatever that, hey man, you know, you don't like, you know, our state. I know that's me. That's the whole me thing. That's not a state thing. So the takeaway is broadening your view broadens your perspective. It's amazing how the higher you go, you can see things a lot clearer. I don't know if you've gone on one of like those huge, big, like they call them like a Ferris wheel or whatever, or if you've been like at an amusement park, you go way up. The perspective is different because you can see everything and you can say, look at that or look at this. And that's what happens when you change your view. So what's our homework for this week? Well, that's a great question. Discover a new culture or custom or even courtesy. You do realize that what you do in your culture may not be the same thing that other people do in their particular culture. What you have as a tradition or custom in your family is probably not a tradition or custom that someone has in their family. And then when we start talking about business, it's the same way. There are some fundamental business processes and best practices that we all use, but then there are also these things that are unique to what we do. Man, it's been awesome hanging out with you guys. I can't wait till next week. We're closed. I can't believe that season 4, we're almost through it. And then I got some bonus material. I'm going to be doing these a series called Wolf, What I Learned From, and I definitely want you to tune in that. But we have 2 more episodes before we get through the alphabet. I can't believe, like, I challenged myself to be like, oh, it's so awesome that I actually did that. I think I might have to go and do a do-over one, because we had a technical snafu and I'm just talking and I'm thinking I'm talking to everyone. And guess what? The mic was not hot. And so no one heard anything that I said. So this is what I want you to do. As always, tell anyone suffering from SMB, Slow Money Blues, to tune in each Tuesday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want you to follow, like, and share at Slow Money Blues on social media and join our private Facebook group. Until next time, I want you to continue to build, launch, and grow your own personal freedom success system. Now, I won't see you at the top, but I want to see you over the top. Have an awesome Tuesday and rest of your week. Bye.